Neville Goddard said that your experience of the world is simply a projection of your internal consciousness. Now, Neville Goddard talked especially about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that your dream be manifested. So assuming the feeling of something means that you really get deeply into that feeling. And what Neville Goddard really promotes is to use your 5 senses. So if you see the house that you're going to walk into in your dreams, if you feel the key in your hands, if you smell the aroma of the roses in your garden, and if you taste the curry that your own personal chef has just made for you, and if you hear the clanking in the kitchen of that chef making your dinner. So if you can really get into the feeling of that confidence, that joy, that happiness, that sense of relief, that sense of accomplishment, that you are there in your dream job, in your dream house, in your millionaire mansion, whatever it is, then that's the key. Now, if you can really create that emotion in yourself, then you will start to impregnate it into the subconscious and change those paradigms that aren't working for you. Now, one of the ways that you can do this, of course, is by saying mantras, or you can meditate, or you can say your affirmations, or you can do what I do, which is holotropic breath work combined with EFT, emotional freedom techniques. Now, typically EFT is used for releasing bad energy, but you can also use EFT to invoke a feeling of positivity about your dream. And holotropic breath work.
What's holotropic breath work?
Holotropic breath work is basically when you over-oxygenize your blood by taking very deep breaths very, very quickly. What happens if you really over-oxygenize your blood? Then you start to get into quite a trance-like state and very, very charged up. Now, if you add EFT, which is the tapping, of course, if you add EFT with a positive affirmation, I am so happy to be in the mansion of my dreams. I am so happy to be in the job of my dreams. If you're in that charged, over-oxygenized state and you start to do EFT, you will get so deeply into that feeling to the point that you will actually be in tears with happiness, tears of joy, tears of the sense of accomplishment that you have achieved your dream. Now, if you can completely get into that state, then you will actually start to reprogram your subconscious so that it just works on autopilot to recognize everything from the world that matches your desire. And it will attract those things as per the law of attraction. And therefore your dream will be manifested into its physical reality because you've changed the internal state. You've changed the internal consciousness. Now, here's the thing that I found really amazing, and it was a total aha moment for me about the law of assumption. If you really deeply assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and rewrite the paradigms in your subconscious, not only will you orchestrate what happens in your future reality, you will also change things in the past. You will change your behavior in the future, and you will change your behavior in the past. Now, that sounds quite incredible, but it's the quantum physics. If you've ever seen Greg Braden talking about the photon experiment, where they took a light photon, they split it in two, and they sent them away from each other, these two light photons, so they were 14 miles apart. When they stimulated one of the light photons, the other one mirrored the activity. But what they also noticed was that sometimes the other photon mirrored the activity ahead of time. So this whole process of manifesting your dreams onto your physical reality, it's actually outside of time. So when you properly assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and really deeply get into that feeling and rewrite the subconscious paradigms, you will actually start to change your past. Now, if you look at this from the other way, what actually happens is that sometimes if you find you're focusing on a goal, but you've gone a little bit astray, you're too busy to be able to concentrate on your manifestation process, you're getting all swept up with all the activity and the stress towards that dream, but you're not keeping clear-headed, and yet somehow, suddenly, an inspiration comes to you about something really clever, a guerrilla tactic to move forward on, a sub-plan towards manifesting your dream, and you don't know where it came from. Well, I'll bet that some of the time, that idea, that hunch that came to you out of the blue to direct you towards your goal has come to you from your future self. Because at some point in the future, you got so deeply into that feeling of your dream fulfilled that it started to project back inspirations into the current day. Now, I think that's absolutely mind-blowing, but basically, if you assume the feeling of your dream fulfilled, you'll not only affect your behavior in the future, but you will affect your behavior in the past as well.